All right, we are playing Resonator Bestial. With a small Centurion package, I feel like Centurion adds a lot of dynamic plays to this deck. It looks like my opponent is on Rika. Man, this is a tough matchup. We'll see what we can do. My opponent can't do anything in the first turn, but we are going to do our best to set up a pretty nice board, all things considered. Bestial Magna Hut, get Stone Sweeper, and we're going to get ourselves Soul. Now Soul is going to search out for our Bone Archfiend. Now this is where I misplay. If I would have not sent that field spell and instead sent something else, I would be in a better situation. But nonetheless, we're going to go into Red Rising Dragon, use Red Rising plus Crimson to go into the Crimson line with Visionator and Synchron. My opponent reveals the Nibiru, and that makes this a lot tougher. We're going to use Vision and Synchron to get us some pieces here. I'm going to try my best to do something with this, even though, you know, it might be a little harder. Kind of see some lines, so I'm going to use Bestial Magna Hut to banish the Synchron Resonator, Tribute off to get my Lubellion, and use Lubellion to get the Branded Regain, get the Crimson Guy, get the Trap, and we're going to go into Bestial Dispatter. Now, Bestial Dispatter gets us a level 1, which can turn our Nibiru token plus Synchron Resonator into a level 12. So we get the Centurion Ox out. We're going to use Centurion Ox and Synchron Resonator to get us some more combo pieces. We get Vision Resonator back to hand, and we get Trudea to hand as well. Now I have follow-up for my next turn. We're going to hit him for 3,500 and end my turn there, getting Druisarm into the mix. My opponent reveals the Rika card, so we're going to special summon Magna Hut when we get a chance. We're also going to use Druisarm to have another piece of interaction. I want that Druisarm to ban the Nibiru to banish it so I have a negate. I accidentally draw a card. I drew into an Ash. I got real lucky. It kind of accidentally button mashed and used that regained. But we're going to see our opponent has the follow-up now, using the level 6 to tribute and get his field spell. Now he has a really tough board to play around, but we'll see what he does. He takes out the Dispatter, so now he just has to get through all my dragons. Also reveals his Ragnarika board and adds 2 cards from his deck. Man, a search for 2 is really cool. He has to banish 1, but the Ragnarika Bloom gets him to bring that back for free. So no punishment on any part. Gonna use those 2 to go into the Ragnarika Skeleton Soldier. That triggers the Ragnarika to special summon it, and use the other Ragnarika to special summon the other one. Now he goes into another Link 2, and this time it's going to be the Aroma Jasmine. This card will tribute his other Ragnarika to give him access to Lonefire Blossom. Blossom is going to change the level of the other plant to get him out a rank 8 in Teardrop. He's going to use Teardrop to take out the Centurion Ox and gain some points and take out the Magna Hut. Now the cool thing, what really based me to touch this RDA build is the search for the Shining Star Dragon. Alright, so this turn, it's not looking too bad, even though considering what we have going on. Chaos Angel is very accessible to us now. I get rid of the Jasmine. I was really worried he would chain the Teardrop, but I'm gonna go into the Chaos Angel Light and Dark, so it's not affected by that Teardrop anymore. This will bait out one of the traps as well, because I'm going to try to push for the traps instead of the monster. I'm really relying on that Shining Star Dragon for follow-up play for my next turn, but we're also going to get follow-up plays for this turn. Now I'm going to use Trudea to go into the Centurion plays, but my opponent's not going to allow that. we do get Bone, and Bone is going to level modulate getting Obsessive Oovaloop. Now I'm going to banish my Centurion Ox to get Oovaloop, and I also had to ban Red Rising Dragon. I'm going to draw a card off of Red Rising Dragon, and we have Obsessive Oovaloop plus Bone Archfiend, and we're just going to go into an RDA. RDA really pressures what I need it to, and he uses that field spell to take both of my monsters. Survives for another turn. We're going to use Centurion Ox to get us Wake Up Centurion. That really won't matter, but we're going to get a special summon of a Dispatter because he special summoned the Petal. We're going to get our Chaos Angel back, and we're going to have the Trudea engrave. This is a really long stally match, pretty much seeing which engine's going to run out first. But I'm going to use Shining Star Dragon to go into the Crimson Dragon instead. Now I also have a 10 on board, so that would have pressured Trishul as well, but my opponent had the negate ready. This time he's going to try to go into his RDA plays. Using this, I feel like this is the perfect time for the called play I had set that really triggered my opponent to surrender. It was a long haul game due to huge misplays I made, but we ended up winning it anyway and showing the really what RDA does best, which is resiliency. You know, it can't be taken out that easily, except in the beginning. All right, guys, we're going first in this one. In this build, I was actually testing out Gamma in the deck. I wanted to see how Gamma would work out, but learning from this interaction, Gamma does not work really well. We do get to successfully special summon our Bone and search off for the Vision, but we're forced to use all of our pieces here to go into something. Reason being, Centurion, we're locked into dark synchros right now. So we're going to use Trudea, and we're going to get our trap here. So I feel like the strongest play is to play into a Centurion line here, just to defend ourselves really well. And we're going to get Red Zone as another piece of interaction for the Supernova. So it's not too bad. All right, my opponent reveals Tearlam and Scream. I'm going to get my Trudea summon as soon as possible, and we are going to go into the 12 of choice. Now, I'm not going to activate the Crimson Dragon just yet, but I do want to have access to the Crimson Dragon, or I do activate it, my apologies. We're going to use it right away to go into the Red Supernova Dragon. Our opponent reveals the Fenrir, attempts to go to battle, doesn't use the effect, but the effect would have triggered the Supernova, made me realize my opponent had absolutely nothing. Alright, going first, opening up with the Stone Sweeper plus a huge amount of hand trap protection. That is what I like to see in an opening hand. We're going to use Bone Archfiend to give us access to this. Honestly, I felt like the Ash was the perfect one to pitch because Called By gets rid of Ash or Maxi, and we don't really need searches as of right now. Red Rising Dragon, gonna target the Crimson Resonator and use the Resonator's effects to get 2 visions. Now, with 2 visions, I already have the Synchron Resonator in hand, so our plays are pretty much back to normal. Using Synchron and Vision Resonator, we're gonna go into Bestial Dispatter first, bringing back Scarred and getting that Vision Search for the 2 spells and traps that will really help us out. Now, Called By is really good for us too because that puts something in the graveyard or the banished pile to turn on the Bestial Dispatch. Now we're going to use RDA and Crimson Gaia as well to get us that red zone so we have even more interaction. But Synchron Resonator plus Red Dragon Archfiend going to go into make Archfiend Abyss. Now I'm going to even recycle another Vision Resonator, set 2 and pass. A pretty generic RDA board, but still really cool that that's what it does. Now the Pot of Extravagance also turns my negates on. I feel like this is the perfect time for the Maxi, but my opponent's going to draw 2. Use the triple attack. I have to use the Archfiend Abyss there to stop that, which is completely fine on my part. My opponent reveals he is on the Voiceless Voice. Saphira, easily a really good called by target. I'm gonna call by the Saphira. After that, my opponent normal summons Maxi. He was gonna go into a Typhon, but it didn't work out for him. He realized he did it too soon and surrenders. All right, going first, we're opening up with the Soul Resonator. Our opponent has the Imperm for that. I'm gonna open up with a Cross Designator to secure the Imperm. Really need the soul to go off here. It would really stop me in my tracks. I literally wouldn't be able to do anything. So we're going to use Bone to get Obsessive or Vision into the grave to trigger Vision's effect to search. That is big. That locks us out of a lot of interaction with Crimson Gaia in red zone, but we can deal. Bone Archfiend sending the Crimson to graveyard. We're going to get ourselves our Red Rising Dragon. Red Rising Dragon effect, going to get Crimson Resonator. Now, Crimson Resonator is going to get 1 Synchron, 1 Vision. We're going to use those 2 to go into Scarred and go into 2 separate 9 and a 10 Synchro. Starting off with the Archfiend Abyss. Man, this card is insane. Target any face-up card, negate. Really comes in handy. And we're going to use Synchron to also secure us a Vision Resonator for our next turn. Actually, not for our next turn. That's complete follow-up. Realizing that now, we still have a lot of gas. I'm going to use Obsessive Oovaloot from hand to go into Red Rising, using RDA to go into Centurion Ox first to get up the stand-up Centurion. We're going to get the Obsessive Oovaloot back to our hand as pitch fodder for the stand-up Centurion, getting Primera into the back row. Now, as soon as Primera is summoned, our opponent surrenders. I was really hoping to use the Magna Hut for Shining Star Dragon plays, but fortunately didn't get to do it, but still nonetheless a perfect combo clip. Alright, final game of the day. This was taking place in the Duelist Cup. I decided to throw a few matches in there and see how I could do with this deck. Earthbound, Stone Sweeper, a really good start to the combo, but if you look at my hand, I have a full combo for Centurion lined up. So we're going to use the Primera to bait out a negate, and looks like it did its job, but I already have the Wake Up in hand, so I'm good to go on that part. I really thought that my opponent, since he had passed completely without doing anything in his opening turn, I felt like going for a Centurion line instead was the safer call. Now, using Centurion Ox to get us the field spell so we could do synchro plays during our opponent's turn, using Imperm and also securing the Soul Resonator for our opening turn as well. Hitting our opponent for the 3000 damage, I might as well, and securing the Primera for synchro plays. Now, Maxi, Imperm plus a synchro play. It's a really good board. Opponent must have not had anything. That must have been why he passed. But still, nonetheless, a really good Centurion line. On to the deck list. Alright guys, so this is the final deck list I came up for the video, using a lot of the RDA cards with a significant Bestial package as well as a small Centurion package. I feel like this is a really good blend of both sides. You don't see both engines too frequently, and the extra deck can be modified, but a lot of these cards are going to come in clutch in certain situations. Example, Crimson Dragon, you're running Trishula, Blazar, and Red Supernova as your targets. Red Supernova can also be summoned legitly, but sometimes that probably won't happen. Shining Star Dragon comes in clutch using Crimson Dragon. If you had like an insane board where you had Centurion as well, you would use the Centurion to go for Legacia and then go into Crimson Dragon using the effects of Shining Star Dragon. Now, I thought it was really cool that Magna Hut could search Shining Star Dragon. I think that's really cool synergy, so that's kind of why I wanted to try it out. Shout out to the Master Duel live streams, I saw somebody playing Bestial Synchro, and this is the play they did with Magna, and it really inspired me to throw it into an RDA and kind of give it its time to shine. I hope you guys enjoyed the educational video on this build. I definitely will keep on experimenting with all of these RDA builds, and I'm doing a lot of new decks for you guys. Lightsworn Tier, I messed with Lightsworn Centurion. I'm loving just trying out everything. So I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.